If there's one sectional weapon that's been more ignored by Valve than any other, it's probably Engineer's secondary slot, only having 2 unlocks since the game came out. One good for defense and the other is the Short Circuit. Now, I'm not saying the Short Circuit is bad, it's just the other options can sometimes be, by a lot of eyes, a lot better. However, a lot of people don't realize how powerful and how good the Short Circuit is. And today I'm going to explain why the Short Circuit is a really good secondary weapon. First, let's go over its stats. Now, I don't know what Valve was thinking, but they probably thought it was a brilliant idea to not explain anything about this weapon in its visual stats. So you have to be looking like really well and know a lot about the weapon to know what it does. And on the surface, it looks like a discount Widowmaker, using up metal for your ammo when just using it up, period. Like, you don't get anything back. But however, when you look at it under the surface a little bit more, you'll see it's a lot bigger and a lot better than it looks. What a lot of players don't realize when they look at this for the first time is that this weapon has the potential to be a very powerful and very supportive tool. Number 1, it can actually delete projectiles using the Alt's fire. More specifically, rockets, grenades, and stickies, and especially for stickies, that is huge and can really help you out, since your pistol isn't really reliable for evaporating stickies, and well, once those babies are on the ground, pyros are going to have a pretty hard time getting those away from you. So your best chances are either killing the demo, which your chances are pretty slim since you have pretty low health and you might die from all the damage, or whip out your Short Circuit and just pretty much delete any spam coming in your direction. But that's not the only thing the Short Circuit can do. This weapon has another huge benefit that can help out in a lot of situations. And this one's pretty big, since if you play NG, at least for a little bit, you're gonna have this happen to you, and the Short Circuit can really help you out in these situations. The Short Circuit is really good at spy checking, and this is where the Short Circuit truly shines. If you encounter a spy trying to put their mixtape right on your sentry, they're probably going to either cloak or try to fight back. But 80% of the time, they're probably just going to go ahead and cloak, because if they even try to fight back with their revolver or try to butter knife you, your sentry's probably going to finish them off. Now, why is the Short Circuit good for spy checking? Because of how this weapon doesn't actually have to aim. Your lightning bolts, or whatever you want to call it, will actually go in the direction the spy is going. So if the spy cloaks, just simply alt fire and it will pretty much reveal the spy. And since it does a pretty decent amount of damage a pop, it'll take out the spy before you even knew what happened. It's almost like an aimbot gun, pretty much. And lastly, like I just mentioned, this thing could do a crazy amount of damage with the alt fire. It could do 20 damage a pop, which is a pretty nice bonus since the Short Circuit already does a lot of stuff, and adding a little bit of damage can make it a pretty viable secondary weapon. And that pretty much explains what I had to explain, right? The Short Circuit is a very underrated secondary weapon, probably one of the most underrated weapons NG has, and I don't really understand why nobody really uses it. Well, I somewhat do, since it's really confusing to learn how to use, almost like the Vaccinator. But still, this weapon should be used a lot more often. This thing is a very powerful supportive tool. All it needs is a little bit of tinkering, and it'll be a very, very viable secondary weapon to even compete against the Wrangler as the meta in engineering. In conclusion, the Short Circuit isn't as bad as everyone says it is. In fact, it's a very powerful support tool, and it could do a lot of stuff to help out your team as well as your friendly engineers. And, well, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what weapon you would like me to review next in the comments, and I'll go over it. And also have a wonderful Christmas. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.